Good morning, Unity. So last week I talked about following Tim was like being in a garage band and following the Rolling Stones. Today I feel like Tim kind of opened for me because I have the distinct pleasure and honor of chairing the Faith in Action Committee, which just fits right in with Tim's whole message about abundance and letting go, releasing old beliefs. This morning we're going to hear from Lynn Forsey. She's the Unity Board treasurer. A little bit about Snapshot of Unity. I'd like to introduce some of the people who've been working behind the scenes on Faith in Action, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the specifics at the back end of the talk. So just very briefly, for probably about 8 weeks now, a group of very dedicated volunteers have been working daily, 7 days a week, on kind of creating a program, a Faith in Action program in an entirely different environment. You know, things are much different, obviously, than they were a year ago. And so we talked about how do we respond to that? How do we allow source to flow in this new environment? And so I just want to, for a moment, give some recognition to a handful of folks who have stepped up to really work hard on this. And they are the wonderful Melanie Carter, Pamela Cavana, Claire Grinsell, Sam Engel. She's not even here. She's in Colorado. Sam, bless you. Yeah. Linda Anderson, Sandra Merlot, my soulmate in spreadsheets, Maria Merritt, who thought she was going to get away from this, not a chance, and my super awesome wife, Monica. So those folks, and by the way, about to engage in the program are two new volunteers, Jeannie Skybrook and Georgia Smith. So I just want for a moment to acknowledge those great volunteers and Unity members for their efforts with the program. Great. And at this time, we'd like to have Lynn Seaver come up and speak for a moment about Unity and the state of the church. Lynn?
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning, Unity Marin. It's great to see you all. Okay, the listening that we're going to have right at this moment is we can move forth into our vision by being grounded in the present. Okay, so what I've been asked to do is provide an update on our current financial situation and where we are today in order to spring forward into the new world. So when the COVID pandemic began in March, do you remember that? Unity Marin was running with about $58,500 per month of expenses. Revenue pretty much covered those expenses, but our planned facilities rental income was lower than expected. So at that point in time, we were really working on that so that we could resolve that issue. Well, now we're in our 9th month of the COVID emergency. And as you can imagine, our finances have been significantly impacted, as I know some of yours have been as well. Compared to this same point a year ago, our giving is down by about a third, 33%. Our facility rentals income has decreased by 98%. We still have a few events, but you know what's happened. And revenues from our programs is down by 83%. When everything is combined together, our revenue for the most recent quarter is almost $100,000 or 45% less than we had at this time a year ago. But guess what? We're still here. Our actions to respond to this crisis have been in 4 categories. Number 1, we applied for and we were granted a payroll protection loan that the federal government gave to small businesses. And it was fabulous, and we used it. Number 2, our lender allowed us to pause our mortgage and interest payments for 6 months initially, and now they've extended that to us through April of 2021. That's, every little bit helps. 3, all of you, but particularly, Sam and Mel Engel and our anonymous donor that started the Betty Martin Fund, you all stepped up with some fabulous contributions over the past few months, and that has kept us going. So we definitely appreciate that. Fourth, The staff and our board have worked tirelessly to reduce expenses wherever possible, and that's shedding things that we've no longer needed or have realized were inefficient, such as applying for and getting different insurances that cost much less for the same or better coverage. And I'm happy to report that the Hamilton Montessori School has grown and is a consistent contributor with 19 full-time equivalent students. So we really, really appreciate the leadership of Hamilton Montessori School and all the support for them. Yet, our current budget reflects the reality of almost 50% less income than we're used to having. We've made the difficult decision to cut some staff hours in addition to cutting non-staff expenses wherever possible. We're currently operating on a budget of about $40,000 per month, not including our mortgage and interest payments. That's an $18,500 per month savings from what we were doing before. For the month of October, our income was about $20,000 less than expenses, even with everything that we've done. So we had to dip in a bit into our reserves, which we are holding because, we need to have that. So really what I want you to understand is our operations are supported by your contributions, by all of our contributions. Our Faith in Action goal for this year is $500,000, and that's a real goal. That's what's going to enable us to navigate these times that we're in and to continue working, growing, thriving to achieve our vision that we have, which is a vision of a thriving, wonderful community, which we are. So as Reverend Tim said last week, being aware of what's so keeps us grounded as we tap into the source and power of abundance. Increasing our individual knowledge of Unity Marin's finances allows us to contribute our time, talents, and treasure to achieve the financial abundance for Unity and Marin. We are happy to provide any of you with more detail. You can easily email board@Unity and Marin to get further detail on this, but that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much.
Len, thank you, and thanks for your just awesome ongoing work with Treasury, with the board. There are, my committee's only been working for about 8 weeks. This board's been working for years, and this church wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the board. They have withstood storms that others would have been knocked over by. So bless you and thank you. So our goal, last week I asked for and received permission to raise our goal to $500,000. And as I listened to Tim this morning, I'm thinking, I'm envisioning us blow past that. I honestly, sincerely feel we can do it. Monica broke this down, the numbers of it, and I'm a recovering CPA, she's an MBA, so you can imagine what our Sunday afternoons are like. We sit around building spreadsheets. Good old time. Oh, goodness. Oh, thank you. Okay, great, thanks. That work, Connect? Yeah. Awesome, man. So we broke it down. We have over 200 members in Unity. And at $2,500 each, if each member gave $2,500, we'd hit that goal in flying colors. Now, we have a growing community out on the web, and those of you worldwide who appreciate what we're doing and would like to be a part of it, our door is open to you. We invite you to join us in this goal. Here's what I'm thinking. This pandemic has been, how shall I say, unequally treated so many people that we know. There are those who have been simply hammered by it. And there are those whose prosperity has skyrocketed. If you're in the right industry, if you happen to have a stock portfolio, things are looking pretty good. And then there are a lot of folks, frankly, just kind of like right in the middle. We have a lot of Unity members who are in retirement. They're living on fixed income. They're not really abundantly blessed by this, but they're not hammered so hard. So what I want to suggest is the first group, those of you who've been hammered very hard. Money is God in action. It's part of the flow. The universe is always expanding for something greater. Money is one of the vehicles through which the universe expands. Without a receiver, there can be no giver.
And so for those of you who are feeling this, and I was in real estate in 2008, I still am. In 2008, I was feeling it. I was like a deer in the headlights. We got hammered back then. And so my heart goes out to you. I have a sense of what you're dealing with. Please understand, we are here. There has never been a natural disaster when the rest of those not affected were stepped up and came to the aid of those in need. So we just simply ask you to be willing to receive. If you'll receive, there can be giving, and if there can be giving, there can be an increase in the vibration, increase in flow. So please be willing to receive. Those of you in the middle, anything you can do to join the program. Here's the cool thing, is if you can't hit $2,500 this year, that's okay, because just any contribution leaves a space for some of those in that last group, the abundantly blessed this year, to come in and fill up the gap, to fill the difference. So anything you can do to join in Faith in Action, make a pledge, would be deeply appreciated. And then those of you in the last group, like I said, I'm still in real estate, and if you're in real estate, if you're in mortgages, if you're a builder, you're having a heck of a heyday. Who knew that in a pandemic things would take off like this? So I'd like to invite you to join me with a pledge. In Tim's words, we've decided to up ours. So we'd like you to up yours. The $2,500 contribution. I have a check for Monica and Mai, both at $2,500 each, that we are going to make now so that we can kick this thing off, and we're going to continue. Thank you. Hey, I'm only one, y'all, so y'all join right in. I have to tell you what a wonderful feeling it was when we made this decision. Yeah, that feels really great. I just really feel the flow. I really feel the energy. So this is our check for that, and we're going to continue to make our weekly pledge. And we'd like to encourage you to do that. Now, one last point for those of you who might get kicked up into a higher tax bracket. This would be a really good time to contact your tax advisor and say, should I be front-ending this contribution? Is there a benefit to me doing that? I used to be a tax practitioner. Very often there's a real economic benefit to moving your contribution ahead before 12/31, as opposed to actually making the payment in the following year. So talk to your tax advisor now. They're going to get busy in about 3 weeks. Now would be a really good time to talk to them. And otherwise, we just ask you to simply go to the Unity website, click on Donate, drop down to the Faith in Action 2021 plan, and give generously. Unity, viewers worldwide, thank you so very much. Blessings.